Moxi's mother was delighted. She was so proud of her boy. My darling boy, I'm so proud of you. What a wonderful decision you've made. His mother also told him that at some point in the future, when he was ready, she would come to him and he would have to complete a series of tests given by herself and Asmodeus to prove his true loyalty, and then he would start on his path to becoming a Solar. Moxi was ridiculously excited by this and said, well, I want to do it now. Can I not do it now? No, my darling boy, no. You're not ready yet. No. You must wait. Moxi, being a very impatient pirate paladin, was not eager to wait. He was like, well, why can't I do it now? What can I do now? I want to start being a Solar now. I want to get all this power now. No, my darling boy, you must wait. You're not ready yet. You're not ready yet. Which was the DM's secret stealthy way of saying, level up a few more times. And it was his mom's way of saying, we're going to keep you dangling because then you'll want it more and you'll do what we say. All of which was tremendous and great fun for me to play, so completely leaned into that 100%. So Moxi's mother was delighted. His aunt, not so much. He did tell her what he had done and she was quite angry, but she did ultimately say, look, it's your decision, but I warned you. I warned you what's going to happen to you. And I love you as much as I would love my own kid, but I can't talk you out of it now. It's too late. As the party journeyed on after this, and Moxi had taken his new deity and was sworn to Asmodeus, some of his powers shifted a little bit. He was dealing extra damage with sort of fire, that kind of thing. Little things were changing about him. But there was also changes in Moxi's appearance as well. As they journeyed on, his skin that had once been this rich ocean blue was paling down to this sort of sullen grey, sickly pale colour. And his hair started to dull as well, and he really didn't like this. So in some downtime, Moxi and the other party members actually dyed his hair. So Moxi ended up with a big rainbow of hair colour. He had they blonded it out and then they just covered it in rainbow colours. So Moxi was just this vision of rainbow coloured hair and this sickly pale skin, and he loved it. He thought it was great and I thought it was hilarious. His mother did not. His mother thought he looked absolutely ridiculous, and when Moxi said to her after he got it done, he was very excited and he called out to his mom and said, hey mom, I did my hair, what do you think? And the voice just came back and she said something like ridiculous, and he took it in that sort of sweet way that a parent might just go, oh, you ridiculous child, but actually the tone she said it was, you're embarrassing. But he didn't quite cotton onto that at the time, so he kept his lovely rainbow hair and he loved it. The party continued to journey on and have many more adventures. In one of them, Moxi triggered a trap, and this trap lost him one of his eyes. It was an acid trap and it completely just eroded the eye out of his socket, and no healing could really bring it back. But after he recovered, Moxi wasn't too bothered and he just slapped on an eye patch and went, well, I'm even more piratical now. If you ever didn't realize just how ridiculous some of the characters I create are, here is proof. And then, jelly spoons, the day came. I'm skipping a bunch of things that the party as a whole did in about, I think it was about a year's worth of in-game time. They had loads of adventures, they leveled up a few times, they fought some things, they dealt with the main plot a little bit more, and they met some really bad evil people. But this story is about Moxi himself, so skipping past that, about a year, maybe a year and a half in-game time has gone past. Moxi's got bigger and stronger. The party are at a magnificent ball. They're at like a gala party. I think Moxi's aunt had a fight with someone else and it was really cool, and Moxi was like, woohoo! Go on, woohoo! And she looked at him and she obviously saw his skin and she saw his eye, and she was just like, I think she took him by the ear and just dragged him away and was just like, what are you doing? And he was, what? I'm in line with Asmodeus, it's all going really well. This was an accident with a trap. Better me than someone else. Look, I've got a cool eye patch. And she was just like, she was pretty mad at him. His aunt got mad at him quite a lot because he was being utterly stupid. He knew he wasn't always going to make her happy with what his life choices were, but he really wanted to make her happy and impress her with some of the things that he could do. He was really trying there, and yeah, it didn't go well. So it's maybe 2 in the morning, they get into their carriage, the horses trot off down the road, and they are heading back to the keep where they are staying. Because now the party is so cool and so awesome and have done so many cool things for people that they have their own keep in one of the towns. Oh yeah. At some point, somebody notices that they are going in the wrong direction. They are not going back to their keep at all. In fact, they're not actually heading anywhere in town. They're heading out of the town. They try to open the doors, they try to wind down the windows to speak to the drivers, but they can't, and they try to get out. They realize that they have been magically enchanted inside this carriage. They cannot get out. They can't magically break out. Nothing they're doing is working. The horses pick up speed, and as they look out the window, they see the horses have turned into nightmares. Steeds from hell with flames instead of their manes and tails, and they're galloping now, and they're galloping super fast, and they can see the edge of a cliff. They're trying to get out, and they're casting all this magic, and they're trying to break through the roof, and they're slowly making dents, and they're cutting it with their swords, and they're trying to cast magic at it, and they're trying to climb out of this carriage. And then the carriage reaches the edge, and they hear the horses gallop, 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 and then suddenly the hooves just stop because they have gone over the edge of this cliff. So the party's breaking out of the roof and trying to claw their way through and pull everybody out so we can try and jump off maybe. One of the mages is going, God, I think I've got Featherfall prepared. Check, 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 check. And then we notice that we are not falling towards rocks. We are falling into a huge gaping ring of fire. It's at this point that Moxi goes, oh yeah, this might be my mom. And the party crash down onto solid ground. But they survived, yeah, they survived, they landed, they tried to open the doors. Moxi went first because he was like, I have a strong suspicion that this is my mom. So he opens the door and looks out, and they are sort of flanked on all sides by devils. And he looks out and he's like, well, we're definitely in the Nine Hells. And they're in a city area of the Nine Hells. And so they get out of the carriage. They are escorted by devils up to this humongous fancy house, like huge house. It's intricate, it's insane, it's black obsidian with pointy roofs, and they got the sweeping driveway, and Moxi's like, ah, my mom lives somewhere cool. And they go inside, and they are taken into a huge, long office room, and they stand there and they wait, and the party is sort of like, Moxi, what the fuck? And Moxi's like, it's fine, she's just dramatic, it's just my mom. And then he starts getting excited, and Moxi goes, oh my god, maybe she has something cool to tell me, maybe I'm gonna start my test for Asmodeus, oh my god, this is it, I'm gonna get to be a solar. Out of character, a lot of the players are going, oh, backstory time, this is your arc, it's gonna be kind of cool, oh, what are we gonna be doing? And we're all thinking we're gonna have to fight things, there's gonna be like maybe a huge arena pit fight. We're thinking, we as players are just thinking any number of things. The characters are going like, what are we gonna do? And Moxi is ridiculously excited, and he is like bouncing on the balls of his feet. He is like so ready. And then his mom comes sweeping into the room. She's this beautiful long dress, and he hurries up, and she allows him to hug her, and she sort of gently hugs him back, and he sort of steps back and he says, okay, that was dramatic, but we're all here, that was you brought the carriage down. She says, yes, of course, my darling boy, of course. And she looks him over, and this is the first time she in person has seen the hair, and she just sort of strokes her hand through and says, that will have to go, won't it? And Moxi's like, oh no, come on, it's fun. And she just, you've got to take this journey seriously. Oh, come on, mom. Right, my darling boy, you ready? And Moxi's excited, he's going, am I ready? Oh my god, yes, is this my test? Am I ready? And she just says, yes. And he's so excited, he's going, oh my god, yes, of course I'm ready. Is it one test? Is it many? What do I have to do? Am I fighting? What do I do? Can I be a solar now? What am I doing? And his mom just waits, she waits him out calmly, patiently, and she presents him with a great sword. And it's this huge sword with a tongue of flame upon it, and it's got all these amazing engravings and etchings, and it's an Asmodeus' solar sword. And she gives it to him, and she says, go on, try it, wave it, kind of thing. And Moxi sort of does the thing, and he's holding it like, wow, and then whoosh, and flames come out, and he's just like, oh, I've got a new sword. He sort of turns to the rest of the party like, it's on fire. And they're all just sort of there like, ah, cool. And he's like, but it's so cool. So completely distracted with this massive flaming sword his mother had just presented him with in a very clever tactic, that is when she says to him, okay, well, you can use it for your first test. And Moxi says, oh, okay, what is it? What's my first test? I'm ready. And he's holding this sword, and she says, we need you to kill somebody for us. And Moxi, holding this sword, is like, yeah, of course, anything. Who do I need to kill? And his mother says, we need you to kill a pirate known as the Bloody Reaver. And I said to the DM, do you know that name? Nope, didn't know that name. All right, cool, yeah, sweet, let's do this, yeah. And Moxi goes, yeah, with this sword, yes, I'm gonna be powerful. Yeah, of course I will. Yeah, sure. I'll slay this pirate. Yeah, not a problem. He's holding this sword, and his mom says, so you will do this? Yeah, of course I will. And the party members are going, hang on a minute, Moxi, this is the devil we're talking to. And Moxie says, it's my mom, it's my mom. And his mother says, do you promise to do this thing I asked of you? And Party's like, in and out of character, oh, no, this is the devil, Moxie Jones. And Moxie goes, don't be ridiculous, this is my mom, I'm gonna be a Solar. And he says, yes, of course, I promise. And he doesn't quite understand the full ramifications of this. And then his mother does the second very clever and manipulative thing. She produces a cloak that looks very similar to the one his father used to wear when he was captaining the ship. She drapes it around his shoulders and says, oh my darling boy, I've got you a ship. And she points out the window of her room and you can see this sort of, it's like a devil, like Nine Hells style harbour. And there's a big sort of portal at the other end so you can sail out into the rest of the world. And there is a ship docked. This ship is huge. It's bigger than his father's ship, the Shade Wraith. It's huge, devilish, demonic details. It's got skulls on it. And I'm pretty sure the figurehead was like a skeleton with a sword. And it's got huge masts and all these sails. And Mox is looking at it out the window like, oh, that's a ship for me. And his mom says, you, my darling boy, are captain. And Moxie is pressing his face up against his window, staring at this ship. And he turns back to his friends like, and the party again are like, yeah, that's pretty cool actually. And so the party board the ship. It has a crew of devils already on there. The ship knows it's heading, it knows where it's going, it just needs Moxie to captain the ship. And he turns to his mom as the rest of the party are getting on the boat, and he turns to her and says, thank you so much, I'm gonna prove it, you're gonna be so proud of me, I'm gonna be the best Solar ever, I'm gonna be so powerful. And he's thinking, I'm gonna have this power, I'm gonna be able to do good, God, maybe I could bring my dad back, any number of, all these things just rushing through him. And then his player and Moxie himself have a question. And Moxie says, oh, but hang on, Mom. What did this person do? Why do you want the bloody Reaver dead? Did he hurt you? Is he your enemy? Did he hurt you in some way? And his mother says, oh, my darling boy, no, of course not. He couldn't hurt me if he tried. We just need to make sure that you are loyal to us and that your allegiance lies only with us. We need to make sure you have no more distractions. That's all it is. You're getting rid of a distraction. Moxie's confused. He says, I don't know anyone called the bloody Reaver. I don't know how much of a distraction they could be. And his mother says, oh, my darling boy, you do know him. Well, you did. You knew him by another name. And Moxie says, oh, okay, so who is it? What name do I know him by? And his mother says, oh, you knew him as Sebastian Thor. And that was the name I had chosen for the lover that Moxie had 5 to 10 years ago who just disappeared one day. It was at that point that I, as a player, realised I may have fucked up. Back in character, Moxie just blinks at his mom. And... what? It's Sebastian Thor? What? How? What? And his mother just says, you need to get rid of all the distractions and prove that you are loyal. You're going to walk this path with us. Do you not want the power? Do you not want to be a Solar? You did promise me, Moxie. And Moxie's thinking, I did promise. And his thoughts are going a million miles a second, and he sort of quavers where he's standing and looks up at the ship and looks at his party members standing on the deck waiting for him. And he looks back at his mom, and he feels the sword she's given him over his back, and he runs a hand down the cloak that is so similar to the one his father used to wear. All that Moxie knows at that point is he desperately doesn't want to disappoint his mom. So Moxie just nods and says, I love you, Mom. And he turns around and he goes up the gangplank and he walks onto the ship. And when he grips the wheel, a huge gust of wind just comes and engulfs the sails, and they move off from this harbour in the Nine Hells, and they sail through this portal, and then they are out. And they're under blue skies, and they're back in the mortal world, and they're sailing the seas, and there's like a compass on the ship that's navigating, and the compass is pointing in the direction of the bloody Reaver and his ship. And Moxie is at the wheel, and he, for maybe an hour, tries to just enjoy the feeling of being a pirate again. And he's steering, and he is keeping an eye on the compass. The weather is beautiful. There's wind in his hair again, and he can taste the salt spray. And he just steers the ship. And he says nothing. And then he just stops. And he calls over one of the devils and just says, you can take the helm. I'm gonna take a rest. And they just nod. Captain! Takes the helm. And Moxi climbs down from the helm, and he takes off the big greatsword that his mom gave him, and he sets it very carefully just by the side of the steps. And he takes off the cloak that reminds him of his dad. He folds it up and he puts it next to the greatsword. And the only thing he can think to do is to just climb the rigging. And he climbs the rigging, and he gets about 3/4 of the way up to where there's no one else. And he just sort of hooks an arm, and he just stands in this rigging, swaying as the ship keeps going over the waves. And he stares off into the distance, and he just cries. And he has no idea what he's going to do. And he stays like that until it starts to get dark and evening falls in. And then a couple of members of the party come out on deck, and they call up to him, and they just say, Mox, come down and talk to us. So he comes down, he climbs down from the rigging, he comes down, and he goes with them into the captain's cabin, which is his. And they're all sitting there, and they all sit around a table, and they say to him, right, in and out of character, they say to him, like, right, what's going on? We need to know what this is about. And Moxi tells them. And I had some time to go over what I thought the backstory was going to be. I came up with the name Sebastian for his lover because of a beautiful song, which I will link the video to up here. It's called Gay Pirates, and one of the lyrics is, yo ho Sebastian, let's go far away, somewhere where the captain won't be mad. And it's a really sweet song, and the video they've done it's a low budget video, but it's beautiful, so yeah, go watch it. So that's why his name is Sebastian. That was the first thing. Name the guy, so name Sebastian. And so what happened is Moxi told the party, and I told the players, the backstory of Moxi and Sebastian. And that is what I will tell you now. So if you're not very into slightly angsty teen piratical romances, maybe skip this bit and join me when I do this. Okay.